Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I'm Bo Oliver, joined today by Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, Teddy, and Marissa. We got a full panel here for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, the finale.
Yes.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, the reviewing it is going to be way more fun than the actual movie. But just for today, because then I'm going to be so exhausted by the end of this conversation.
I'm looking forward to the comments in here.
Well, I still don't know, I can't gauge the audience. I feel like people hate it and love it. Kind of like last one, but I feel like it's flipped. Like people who hated The Last Jedi kind of like this one, and people who love The Last Jedi don't like this one.
I'm feeling it's a lot of mixed feelings more than like polarizing where I see they liked it or didn't like it. It was a lot of it was like like
people
it was
were
okay.
so convinced that JJ was gonna like bring it all back, and then he didn't. So
can you blame him
And then
though?
that's our review.
That's a hard task, man.
There's
Like,
so much to
I
get
feel
into.
horrible
Yes,
for
you
him.
can blame. No, don't feel horrible for him.
no, it's just like Rian Johnson. Everyone was like Rian Johnson ruined Star Wars, and now this movie is just kind of like, oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, JJ didn't want to direct the trilogy, so I mean, maybe they could have picked a different filmmaker. We've talked about all this before, but JJ put Luke on that island. JJ was the one who created the mystery surrounding Luke. What was the purpose of putting Luke? There's no way that he didn't say, this is why Luke's on the island, Ryan.
Well, that's
You
the
know?
problem when...
He started this with putting Luke on the island.
Well, I mean,
Hashtag JJ put Luke on the island.
who knows what he would have done if he got to do the whole trilogy, but that's the problem with this trilogy is you have J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson coming in, doing his own thing, and then J.J. coming back in. It's like, wait, let me squeeze what I wanted to do into this movie, and that's what we got. And I think the movie itself it was entertaining, and I liked the movie, but there's a lot of problems with it. And it's very apparent within that first act, the problems in this movie.
Yeah,
That was
right
really
off the bat.
fucking slow.
And you know what's funny is I liked seeing Kylo Ren on Mustafar.
They started off hot. They started off really
Literally,
good.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
and then,
that scene had me optimistic, honestly.
Yeah.
You can't give me like a planet indication, like a location text.
Not like Marvel.
Yeah, they did it for Rogue One.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, they
Mustafar,
did.
it's like you had to read some obscure comic that
Yeah.
who cares at this point?
but the movie starts, and it's
And he's
cool.
going to find wayfinders.
the
The
Wayfinder,
Sith
yeah, for the Sith.
Wayfinder, yeah.
They're called holocrons.
I don't know.
Really?
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, but the movie starts, and it's obviously right away. It's Kylo going to the Emperor, and it just moves so quickly.
My boy.
And it's like, all right, here's Kylo, here's the Emperor. And then we go and we catch on with our heroes, and then they're doing this, and they're going. And it's like, I haven't earned Luke's lightsaber yet. I don't want it. Okay, never mind. I need it now.
Okay, take it
It's
and
2
go.
minutes later, and we got to get this movie going.
See you later, Master.
But
Yeah.
I feel
Just
like,
handing out master ranks like it's fucking hotcakes.
but like once they got to like the Burning Man planet, I feel like that's when it settled in, and it was very enjoyable up until the third act, which I still like the third act too. But third act was a little anticlimactic. But
See, Burning Man, I felt.
But that's
I
where
didn't even need it.
But that's where it found its footing. That's
like
where
when she heals the basilisk,
yeah.
they fall into the Chamber of Secrets. And
Yeah.
we spend like 5 minutes, 10 minutes down there.
But
I did like
But that's
DL.
when it starts feeling like an actual movie. It takes its time. It's slower, and they start trying to develop the characters. Up until that point, they're like scrambling to set everything up and trying to squeeze everything in. And I felt once that happened, all right, now we're moving along. Now we're going somewhere.
That scene with Palpatine, you guys like that scene?
I did like. See,
first
it's
one?
rushed.
Yeah, the first one when he first met him.
And the thing with Palpatine, the more I think about Palpatine in the movie, the less I like that they included him. Because this is obviously, it should have been an episode 8 thing with JJ. But that first scene, I think it gets worse. And then almost the third act kind of gets... the movie's so messy, but the Burning Man Planet stuff I don't like. But the beginning stuff, it's rushed, but I liked Palp's introduction.
What made this movie...
I like seeing him all decrepit.
You've seen better days, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
you did.
It's definitely...
You have Snoke like in the fucking tube.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
made Snoke.
unlimited power on
Yeah.
his machine that's keeping him alive.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Yes.
he's living in a stadium too.
Right, yeah, he's got this whole area of the universe to himself. Nobody knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Outer Rim.
20,000 Death Planet destroyers. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, the Death Stars. It's like we've made every ship
Yeah.
a Death Star.
They need to stop doing that.
Well, they will at this point.
Yeah.
Snoke in the clone tube, like what's her face, Stannis' wife in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
With their little babies.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought of.
I was thinking Guardians and the Collectors when he has like all the different like
Yes.
species in there, but
But now Snoke, you can't even take him seriously anymore.
No, because he wasn't real. And
No, it's
He's
like
a test tube baby.
Yeah.
he's a test tube baby. You know what? Maybe we should consider him real then. It's messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very obvious that they were like, we have to do Palpatine because they killed Snoke in the last movie, and they didn't have a villain that they could have.
Wouldn't you rather have that villain been Kylo?
Yeah. Because I don't think his redemption felt earned enough by the end of the movie. I was just like, oh, I guess this is what they're doing now.
Yeah, I mean...
But it was a good character arc, though. They did do a good job with him. It's not necessarily if you like it or not.
It's evident that they needed a bigger bad if they're going to redeem Kylo. So they're like,
yeah.
well, maybe.
That's why you bring him in, right?
Because the Emperor.
I did love that opening crawl, except for the dead speak. That was somebody was like, Palpatine's recording a podcast.
Yeah.
That's the opening crawl. But I like in the third paragraph when it's like
Joe Rogan.
Right, yeah. He's like, everybody assumed I died when Vader threw me down the shaft.
Interesting.
Right, yeah. Just Jamie, pull up that clip of Vader throwing him down the shaft. When it says Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, I was like,
yo, seriously,
he's raging throughout the galaxy.
And then they open up with that first scene, and it's like, oh, he's fucking balling out right now.
Starting with Kylo, I like that.
Yeah.
And I called it. Pan down after the crawl.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I said they're going up.
I was like, they're going down. Yeah?
Yeah.
I said down to a ship, too.
Wow.
I said up to a planet.
You still owe me dinner. No, but yeah, I thought it was going to be. And then when he has that line, too, he's like, me and my knights are going hunting.
Yo, yeah. And then we got the Knights of Ren.
And they didn't hunt. They just fought each other.
They stunk.
What a waste, yeah.
Did you guys like the way they used the Force with the Force grabbing? How they can like transfer shit within the Force? Did you guys like that?
Yes, I did. I thought that was pretty awesome. It added an element.
It was a different way of the Force.
What they established last movie with how they had the Force FaceTime thing, and
yeah,
when they kind of
now it's peer-to-peer sharing.
Yeah, but now that I guess you could transfer matter through the Force because he got wet from the rain. Kylo did from when he was talking to Rey, and I love that scene when she's in his like little office and he's on the planet and they're kind of fighting through the Force. That's fucking awesome.
When they break Vader's mask and that's how he knows where she is.
He's like, you've been in my room this whole time.
God, she's in my room.
Don't go in the closet, please.
I thought it was funny that
she was
eluding him, and then they just went to his ship, and he just gets to the ground and he's like, she's close. I can feel her.
Yeah, it was very much, it was like a video game. Yeah. And we've talked about that with The Mandalorian, but the introduction of the Wayfinders, that's the thing. It's, yes, Star Wars, you want them to go on a big adventure, but the plot still has to be clever. And they were just giving us point A's, point B's, and expecting us to enjoy the adventure just because we like the characters. But the action, it could have, I wanted more from the action, especially in the third act.
I enjoyed the adventure. I mean, it kind of got to
Burning
the point.
Man planet, it's like, they fly now?
Well, that's
they fly now.
God, yeah.
That's
they
a
tried so hard.
Sequel trilogy comedy, but I do think some of the comedy worked with C-3PO and Babu Frick. Those are some of my favorite parts of the movie.
Yo, this guy C-3PO is going for an Oscar.
He's
like, you know what?
In the movie.
I got 9 movies. I got to start doing something.
Watching him sneak around under the hood on that planet with them was just so funny.
Yeah,
C-3PO stealth. Guy doesn't stop talking.
But I mean, like, the adventure was fun, but it got to the point where it's like, oh, we found the artifact.
But like they literally say, he's like, oh, we found the artifact that tells us exactly where to go.
Yeah,
like,
but I can't tell you.
And then I was like, wait, is that like actually what he's saying? I was like, is this what the?
Did I hear this correctly?
Like, I was like, he's like, they found it so quickly. And they were just, and he literally says, "This is exactly what we need." Like, it took 2 seconds.
No, yeah, and no, how convenient was it that they fall on the sand? And there's a lot of convenience in this plot, which is, I guess, I defend The Force Awakens with that. It's like, oh, why did this random girl get tangled in this adventure? It's like, well, because that's just chance, you know. She's just the character on the adventure. But in this movie, some of the convenience of the plot was, it takes you out of it almost.
They used the plot that she's a Palpatine because they used 7 and 8 to say that anyone can have the Force. You don't got to be this.
Honestly, though, fuck that. I don't want to see some little kid with a broom. I don't care about him. I am a feed me all the fan service you want. I like Skywalkers and Palpatines.
I agree with that if that was the plan from the beginning.
Yeah,
exactly. If the plan from the beginning was she is a Palpatine, that's why we're hiding her identity. Fine, because this is Star Wars. It's big mythology. It's cool. You know, she's part of the Palpatine lineage. That's weird. That's new. We're not looking for anything beyond that with Star Wars. But if you go a little bit deeper and say, hey,
what they tried doing.
Yes. And then it's like, okay, I'm on board with that too. That works for me. Episode 8, Raise a Nobody. This power does belong to anybody. People are inspired by Luke Skywalker's sacrifice in 8, and that kind of helps them beat the First Order. Fine. But then they're like, wait a minute.
No,
Even when Adam Driver delivering the dialogue, you could tell he's like, this is stupid.
I straight up didn't really even know what he said. He was like, "You're Palpatine." He was like saying it so quickly. It was all like,
right. What he was trying to convey before he says she's a Palpatine, right? It's like, I never lied to you.
Something like, "Oh, your grandfather," or he's your grandfather, and then he said something about Darth Vader, right?
Probably, knowing him.
And I was just,
he's like, hey, you're related to
I
Darth
was like,
Vader.
oh, I was like, you've just yelled a lot of stuff at me at one time.
How do you think Rey felt? Rey went back to the ship. She was so distraught. But you want to see her battle with that lineage, you know? If you come from the descendant of the man who just enslaved the galaxy for 20 years, and you're trying to fight for the other side, that's something you have to grapple with. Yeah. Very similar to Luke, and you can repeat that if that's the story from the beginning. But Rian Johnson said, Adam Driver, as Kylo Ren said, you come from nothing. And he was convincing in that scene.
The last movie was very, like, let the past die. And in this one, they were like, just kidding.
Well, that's why you can't have two directors with totally different visions do the same trilogy. It's ridiculous. And, I mean...
Well, Kylo's sacrifice at the end... not included the Emperor in this movie, and then Kylo's the big bad throughout the movie. Rey's chasing him, they have the fight, and then Leia makes that sacrifice to bring Kylo at the very, very end to save Rey. Mm-hmm. Like, you get a bloody battle between Rey and Kylo. These are your two protagonists, antagonists. Kylo gets her this time, because she did win the first one.
I like that.
So it would be appropriate if Kylo overwhelms her, and then Leia ending her journey with her son's death, like they established in this movie. Maybe that's how you bring it home.
Yeah. I do think, though, the movie was kneecapped by the fact that Carrie Fisher died way before they ever started filming this.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, there are obviously, and to me, there are moments where clearly, like, Carrie Fisher would have been a bigger part. Leia would have had more of a role, especially with Kylo. Like, the Han Solo and Kylo Ren scene at the end.
Maybe that was for them.
Maybe, like, it would have been Leia, and it would have made more sense. But obviously, they couldn't do that. And the scenes that she was in were reused from Force Awakens.
Yeah, they're pretty generic, too.
Right, you could tell that characters, when they were speaking to her, you couldn't see Leia's face. It was very much we're using the footage, cut to a character saying something that's new dialogue, and then Leia's like, send a distress beacon.
I mean, I think it's the best they could have done with the situation.
Because it's not her story. Yeah. You know, it's not their story anymore. So the way that they used her...
But wasn't this movie supposed to be, like, it was supposed to be Leia's movie?
It was before she died, yeah.
Yes, and I think you can... Like, I felt that a little bit. Like, there are things that maybe she should have been doing in this movie that obviously she couldn't because Carrie Fisher died.
I wanted a recast. I said it when she passed away. I thought the most respectful thing they could have done was get another act, like a Meryl Streep, like a critically acclaimed, one of these legendary actors to bring that character home. I think that's the way you do it. Because I think that's what Carrie Fisher would have wanted, you know? Have one of her colleagues.
Yeah.
Take the mantle and do it
tough
right.
In that situation. I mean,
maybe it's because I'd read so much about how she was supposed to have a bigger role in this movie beforehand that I just saw it more. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's like kind of like a Game of Thrones situation where this should have been 2 movies. If this was JJ's vision, they should have had the whole trilogy, and they could have played it out over 2 more hours and kind of teased Palpatine and developed it more, because this movie just seems like a lot at once, where it's like where did that come from?
They're light speed skipping in the beginning of the movie, and that was the vibe of the movie.
Well, that
yeah. Oh, yeah, wow.
That was actually a cool wrinkle into that, because they established the tracking through light speed in the Last Jedi. So that's cool how they were able... That was like a cool sequence, using that, but expanding on it. Now they're skipping, and they're following and then tracking them through the light speed skip.
Yeah, I like that too, but that's a perfect way to summarize this movie. It was just light skipping between plot points. That when they pulled down the ship, when Kylo and Rey were battling for the ship, sick. I like that. Yeah, that was taken straight from the Force Unleashed video game, and that's where you get the first. I
was trying to test you, to push you to see what you can do.
Yeah, and he sees her Force lightning. He's like, I can't do that.
That was crazy.
You know what?
When she had the lightning going out, I was like,
would you guys?
She never brought that back too, which is interesting. She never went back to that power.
It kind of felt like a goodbye to Chewie when we thought he died. I kind of wish they would have just like offed him there.
Oh no, I didn't think he was dead for a second.
Yeah.
Oh really?
No, because if he was dead, fans, do you know how mad they got over Akbar?
I mean,
if that's how Chewie would have died.
I mean, when Chewie got his medal at the end, someone in our theater was screaming.
Yes, that was
wow, dude, I loved when Chewie got his fucking medal. That's the fan service I live for.
This guy Chewie he's getting booked in. That was so funny. Just standing there.
They mugshotted Chewie, going through his belongings. Where'd you get this Sith knife?
But it is interesting though. No one on the Resistance side or the hero side that was introduced in the sequel trilogy died.
No good guys passed away here.
I mean, yeah, of course, a couple along the way, but as far as Finn, Poe, Rey,
the new guys,
BB-8,
right.
You guys enjoyed Lando?
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was cool seeing Billy D.
Yeah.
He can't really move as much as he used to be able. He said he was like, I can't even fucking fly anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool seeing him raving with the kids, hanging out. And his
nice
moment at the end when he rallies everybody in the galaxy and he's with Chewbacca.
Yeah.
That's just one of those moments.
Yeah.
And his laugh, the ha ha ha.
That was in the trailer, like, right? It was in the
Yeah,
trailer.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, by the time we saw it in the movie, I was like, I've seen this 10,000 times.
With the Lando laugh?
Yeah.
I love that Lando laugh in the trailer.
It was
every
still
time.
good, though. I
What
still
made
loved
this
it.
movie like okay
He
for
should have
me?
been there from 7, but okay, go ahead.
What made this movie okay for me is the way they wrapped it up, because I think they did wrap it up nicely, with a nice ending.
I think we both found the end to be anticlimactic.
Oh, very but with the Emperor especially,
Yeah.
the way that he dies.
It's like she
with the
wins by
crossed
just like
lightsabers.
Yeah, like, I mean, of course, as like the fan
I'm weak.
service,
I'm so weak.
yeah, fan service hog I am. Like I want him fighting both Rey and Kylo, but
That's what I thought was gonna
Yeah.
happen. I got
With the
real
lightsaber?
when they
Yeah.
both like turn on their lightsabers and they're ready. I was
Yeah.
like, oh wait, this will be cool.
Yeah,
and then
Dude,
it's like,
he-
just kidding.
He zapped the souls out of them quick.
it's
Yeah.
pretty much just her zapping her and her fighting it off, and that's it.
Did you guys for a second think that he was going to win?
No,
Not at all. Not even a slither?
there is no tension there.
No.
Not for me, at least.
See, the whole point of this movie, with her at the end with the yellow lightsaber as well, is that they are letting the past die. They're moving on from the Jedi
Yeah.
and the Sith. But it didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like the Jedi and the Sith had their big moment
Who made that for
against
her?
each other. What?
Who made that for her?
The lightsaber?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure she knows because she studies the books
Okay.
that Luke has. So find a Kyber crystal. The yellow lightsaber has existed before in canon. But it didn't feel like that was the ending for them. It felt like the Jedi just beat the Sith again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it didn't feel like there was this complex resolution to this centuries-old conflict between them.
I don't really care much about that. I feel like talking about like the Sith and like Jedi or whatever. I'm just saying like the way it all ended, like how she defeated him. It was very just, I zap you, I hold it off.
Even within just those two characters, you could have found a way to resolve that conflict.
Yeah.
That is what the movies are about, right?
Well, I feel the thing I enjoy most about these movies is Rey and Kylo's character, your two main leads and their story arc.
I wish the dyad thing had been introduced to us like way earlier on.
What is that?
Like someone says, I think it's Kylo, that they're a dyad. They're both sides of the Force. Like they're literally connected. Like with the
right,
Force
yeah.
bond, that's why Palpatine is able to literally like suck out their life energy, all that stuff, and use them like a really big battery. But I wish, like, I found that really interesting. Like that whole like, he's the grandson of Anakin Skywalker, and she's what they think is nobody at first, and the difference in expectation and legacy, and that they're part of like they're essentially two sides of the same coin. And it was explored, but I don't know. I wish they did more with it. I wish they pushed on it a little more.
So you think that the introduction of her as a Palpatine, that revelation almost takes away from that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Because
mind
it's
the
almost like
Palpatine
royalty,
thing.
nothing, and then the Force gave royalty this ultimate power, gave a scavenger this ultimate power, and that's how they come together.
In the beginning, I was not very sold on Kylo and Rey being a thing in any capacity. But by the end of this movie, I was like, oh, maybe if they had done more with it.
See, if they would have done all that but with no Emperor, I think maybe it works. But you like the fight when they're on the ships.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
it
my
was a sick
favorite
fight.
sequence of the movie. Her going to the Death Star, kind of having that little vision sequence, and then Kylo coming there. I thought that was probably my favorite part of the movie. And it's just two characters coming together at the point where you see them like they're at a crossroads. Kylo's kind of going back down from the dark side, where that's kind of another thing where the two movies don't really align, is that at the end of The Last Jedi, I felt he was very much Team Dark Side.
Yeah.
Big dark side guy. And here he's kind of fighting with that. And he's not trying to kill Rey. He wants to go see the Emperor together. He's very much trying to, I guess, maybe find a middle ground. Whereas Rey is getting angrier and angrier, so she's trending the other way. And they just meet at that point. And I felt that was very well done. Where Kylo is stopped by Leia, and then Rey is the one that has anger overtake her and kill Kylo pretty much until she heals him.
Right.
And they both were kind of like, at the end of that, it's like, all right. All
right, truce.
Let's get together.
Yeah, that relationship throughout all 3 movies it's definitely the best part of this trilogy. I think it's the most complex relationship out of all Star Wars. It's kind of what Anakin and Padme should have been to an extent. Obviously, Padme's not Force sensitive, but up until her being revealed as a Palpatine, I think that I have to sit with it. I just have to sit. with this movie.
It makes me think of like, okay, so Palpatine had the one son, and like, what was his son doing?
Well, who banged Palpatine?
Yeah.
But like, if his son hated Palpatine so much that he like ran away with his wife and his child and were willing to die for this, like, what happened there?
That make a good movie, you
Like-
think, right? Like a middle part.
I was just like, I don't know, like you would think the Sith Emperor would keep better tabs on his kid.
Well, Star Wars always does this.
Unless he
They-
didn't know, but like whatever. It's
so
not
is
something we're
who would
supposed
let-
to think about that
Wait,
much.
does that mean
but-
that Rey's parent?
Who would let
It's
that
like,
crinkly
oh, yeah.
old man into their guts?
See, you're thinking of Emperor Palpatine. You're not thinking of Sheev. You're not thinking of Phantom Menace.
She didn't have a baby in Phantom Menace.
that we saw.
But, yeah.
Sheev very well could have had kids.
Uh,
We don't know about what he does in his personal
well, he
life.
made it. Unless he made his kid like he did Anakin. And he
Well,
just turned
apparently
out
that's
like
not canon anymore.
he was like the Cooper Manning. It's like he makes Anakin, he makes him Peyton, and he makes another one. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to play football.
He got hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
But his kid was pretty good,
Yeah.
Does Cooper have any kids?
He was nice. He was a good receiver.
Oh, Cooper Manning's son is sick, actually.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. There we
It all
go.
comes- Wow, no wonder these movies suck. Based on the Manning family legacy.
What about that kiss? Do you think? I feel like they should have kept them alive. If they were going to kiss and keep them together rather than now what? Finn and Rey.
The way that they could have pulled this off is if Rey went with Kylo at the end of The Last Jedi, and then they introduced the Emperor. Because we would have had the cliffhanger of what is Rey going to do? Is she going to go with Kylo? Is she going to become a bad guy? And then you introduce the Emperor, and then they look at each other like, what?
You knew this? You didn't tell me?
Right, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Luke and Leia know that she's a Palpatine. I can't take... There were so many retcons in this movie that going back and watching every movie from now on has changed.
It feels like J.J. Abrams wanted to bring Palpatine in from the beginning, and then this was his way of just doing it, just shoving it in.
No, I think that he brought in Snoke to be the Palpatine. And then they killed Snoke, and he was like,
Now what?
he was like, I guess we'll just bring back Palpatine.
Well, that's
Yeah.
another thing. It's like we were all thinking we're going to get the Snoke book and the Snoke origin, and it's just like, I created Snoke. Well, that's out the window.
Well, I feel like
It's
a lot
like,
of
well-
people are saying that The Last Jedi, like this movie completely disregarded The Last Jedi, which I don't really think. I feel like character
I think it did as much as it possibly could.
I think as we talk about it now, I'm starting to think, damn, they did
But
The
no,
Last
like,
Jedi dirty.
but like character-wise and stuff like that. I don't think they completely spat on it. I feel like they just changed a few things, and it was just a clash of visions. But I think the most apparent is probably Rose's character, who had a huge part in the last movie and is barely in this one. Mm-hmm. And even the parents thing, I feel like I kind of took it as, Kylo probably, he doesn't really know. It's just kind of a misdirection, and you can see it as, all right, now we got the real truth here. But I think
He sounded like he fucking knew in The Last Jedi.
he's just
That's why the retcon bothers
You're
me,
just trying
because
to
you have to
convince it.
talk yourself
I
into
know.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
Kylo,
all that matters like just how you take it.
I don't think he
and
knew either until
yeah.
Palpatine told him.
Yeah.
Because Palpatine's like, there's more to this girl than you know.
No, but yeah,
I feel like it's
I
more
think
just a revelation.
Kylo was like,
to
yeah,
something
your parents are
yeah.
nobody.
yeah, but you're basically apologizing for the writing when you guys are saying that. I'm not attacking you guys. Listen, I mean, that's what we have to do. That's what they're forcing us to do. It's like, well, he didn't know this in this moment and in that moment.
They also
this
expanded
one
on a lot of what was introduced in The Last Jedi. Most the Force FaceTime thing.
Where were the porgs?
There were porks.
They were porgs.
Yeah. But they took that and they expanded upon it. So
How about
it wasn't a
JJ
complete
talking through Luke?
Well,
I'm gonna do what you did.
Yeah.
I was stupid for doing that.
yeah.
I never should have did it.
Yeah, well,
I should have directed 8.
Did that scene with Luke
That's a new cool
bother you
force power. Yeah.
when she threw the lightsaber and he caught it?
it's exactly what he was talking about.
Again,
Oh,
well, once
oh.
again, yeah, it's like, is that any way to treat a lightsaber?
After this
A
man
Jedi's
threw
weapon.
his lightsaber off a cliff.
He's got a I love Reddit button. Well, the character of Rose, too, is something that... Rose was polarizing in The Last Jedi. The answer to that question is because she wasn't like a 6'2" Gal Gadot. She was like a regular person, and they made her a hero, and that was cool.
Yeah.
But her character was also kind of inconsequential to the main story.
Yeah, I mean, Rose's character, I feel like in The Last Jedi, I
For
didn't
that
really...
story, she needed it for that story,
Yeah.
not this one.
Well, for The Last Jedi, I'm saying what she and Finn did, a lot of people just didn't enjoy that subplot.
Yeah, no, I didn't enjoy the subplot either. When she's
So I
like,
think
now
that
it's
kind
worth it when she frees the elephant horse thing.
She might have the worst line of that movie.
And it's like there's like a galactic empire trying to kill everybody, but now it's worth it. I mean, I don't hate her character. I just feel like, but like I really could care less like what she has to do in this movie. I want to see Rey, I want to see Kylo, I want to see Finn and Poe.
I thought she could have just.
She could have done more, yeah, but I wasn't like dying like, oh, can't wait to see Rise of Skywalker to see what Rose Tico does.
Her sister got a better moment than she ever got.
Yeah.
Throughout all the moments.
Yo, that fucking
movies.
snag.
That was a great grab.
Yeah.
That was a Luke grab when.
Yeah.
The scene between Luke and Rey, I'm having a hard time remembering. What did they talk about? He's like, listen, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to become a hermit just like you. And he was like, nah,
I did
that's
the
not a
same
good
thing, I was
idea.
Now the fans are going to say my character was ruined, so you should probably go back. But that was a cool moment when he lifts the X-Wing, kind of what he did in Empire. When
Yeah, how many are down
I
there?
don't know. It wasn't perfect. The movie itself is very sloppy, but I like stuff like that.
But the Luke scene
I
is
am
just
very
the biggest-
simple-minded. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like an Empire when he couldn't do it. Now he's doing it, and I'm a clap for that. I didn't clap though.
No, you didn't.
In my head, I clapped.
The Force Ghost powers are so weird too.
Yeah, they can do anything.
No Yoda.
No, but we heard the voices at the end.
Yeah, but I wanted to see him.
No, I'd rather see Anakin than Yoda, but we got a little.
It was cool. One of the voices was Ahsoka from the cartoon.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Ahsoka,
really?
Mace
Yeah.
Windu,
That was really cool. Really.
Qui-Gon, right?
Yeah, Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon gave him like his own line because everybody else is kind of talking over each other. Like you got Liam Neeson's pipes.
Well, they put Hayden Christensen's like on
Yes.
double volume.
He was
It's
screaming.
me.
at us.
Christensen.
What did he say? He was like, restore balance to the Force like I did, right? Is that what he said? Or
He
is
was
that
something
someone
like,
else?
I don't like sand. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, I forget what
No,
he
that
says.
wasn't him, right? Because I was like, who restored balance to the Force? Like, let me know.
It would have been funny if they chose like all their iconic lines. Like Mace Windu's just like, this party's over. Liam Neeson's like, good luck.
Sorry about all this.
Right, yeah. Also Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I thought at one point we were going to see them all, like the
Yeah.
actors now, but as Force Ghosts. I thought that would have been. That's the fan service I would have liked. Because she kept talking. I was like, who's she talking to? She's got like an imaginary friend. I thought it was Luke. When she's training in the beginning, she's like, be here with me, be here with me.
I think she's just trying to get him to talk to her.
Finn and Poe. I mean, I think Poe had a better movie than the last one. I feel Finn. He kind of.
What was Poe in The Last Jedi? That was so weird.
Yeah, he was kind of just. Tell
There
me.
to be stupid.
Tell me something. I need to know.
Just tell me the fucking plan.
And Finn, I feel like his setup was so great in The Force Awakens. Last movie, they kicked him aside, and he had the Canto Bight sequence, which I think most people will agree was not great. And this movie, he's
You
kind
just
of.
got done saying you hated it.
I kind of liked his ending, but this movie the whole time again, it's, I got his whole character arc is based on trying to protect Rey.
I
When
don't
Rey
think he
clearly
has an
needs
arc.
no protection, because as Poe says, she is their best warrior.
I'll tell you what, though. The Last Jedi, I don't like the execution, but they do give him an arc in The Last Jedi. It's, I was fighting for personal reasons. Now I'm fighting for an idea.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I completely forgot.
So in this movie, he's just still obsessed with Rey. And it's like, we thought, she's your friend and you
Yeah.
look out for her. But
Oh, I have friends too, but I'm not doing half the shit that he's doing.
Han wasn't like, Luke.
would've-
Luke was out sparring with Darth Vader. He's like, you take care of that.
I would have left her going to that fucking Death Star. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's
It's like, she's a Jedi.
she should
I'm
take care of it.
sure she can handle
This
herself.
is Jedi stuff.
Like
Well, he
she-
kept trying to tell her. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm Force sensitive.
That's exactly how I was feeling. Like, this is Jedi shit. Like,
Oh,
why
that
are you
was
like
so
rooting on this? It's like,
annoying. When he's like, Rey, I gotta tell you something. It's like, oh, what'd you want to tell me? No, I'll tell you later. What'd you want to tell Rey? Oh, no, I'm not gonna tell you.
you're bringing something
Oh,
out.
Poe's on
Yeah,
it.
it
God.
felt like they were forcing so much fucking comedy in it. Like
That
relax.
was funny when she lit the lightsaber.
That was a
and he
comedy.
lit
That
the-
was just stupid. Like,
Yeah, well, yeah, it was like they were trying to be. They were trying to be
It's
witty.
like as told by Ginger.
yeah. But yeah, Finn. I like his ending to this movie though. I thought he might die because remember that Last Jedi sequence when Rose saves him at the end when he was about to sacrifice himself.
Yes.
I think that was a very cool moment, and I felt like he might try to do that again, and he does do that again, but he survives again.
They should have let him die. That
I
would've
like
been
the
a nice arc.
character that played Naomi Aki was the actress who played the
Jana?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was also a deserter. And she had mentioned that all the stormtroopers who had deserted from the First Order were on that planet.
And they all
Or at
felt
least
something
a
like Finn did.
a bunch of them, like a certain, I think.
Right, like a group of them. Yeah.
So does that mean they all have
that's
the
a
Force?
cool idea. That stormtroopers desert, and that they're like real people who were like brainwashed as children,
Yeah.
and now they're somewhere else trying to just live their lives.
Well, I felt
You catch that they were Force sensitive?
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
maybe that's why they deserted.
Yeah, because they had-
they
Well,
all-
it's like a mixture of that. The
Yeah.
Force is. We always talk about what does balancing the Force mean. That means a balance between good and evil. But here, it's very much telling us that the Force, it's giving you an instinct to act towards goodness.
Yeah, what was their? What she said their mission was to kill a bunch of innocent people or civilians.
And we saw that in The Force Awakens with Finn. And there were always, I don't mind him being Force sensitive
No, I mean,
because he's
but
almost
that's
like,
what it went with the whole plot. It's like you're gonna give Finn this Force and maybe have him train too, and then it's like, well, Rey wasn't a nobody, and so is Finn gonna be somebody now?
No, I mean,
well,
they
you kind
kinda-
of still get that point,
yeah.
the lesson of The Last Jedi, that the Force belongs to everyone
Yeah,
with Finn, because Finn still doesn't have a family name. He's still just Finn the general.
Speaking of family
And,
name, they telegraph that so much. It's like, oh, what's your family name? I don't have one. Oh, well, looks like we're gonna find out her surname at the end of this movie.
yeah.
It reminded me of the scene in Game of Thrones when Sam explained surnames to Gilly.
Yeah.
I was like, Gilly and Rey. Poor girls.
But yeah, that's interesting. I kind of like that though. Like,
Well, he's more like traditionally Force sensitive,
yeah,
where it's like I can move things occasionally with my mind.
yeah. No, that was a very cool very cool introduction, because you can kind of in your own mind pretend like, all right, maybe Rey starts this new, not Jedi Order, but trains other Force sensitive people. And it's all these ex-stormtroopers trying to. That's cool. Maybe
That
they
would be cool. Yeah, New Order.
should make a movie about it.
Yeah, like an episode 10 almost. And they fight Snoke, who comes back to life. He's like, I created Palpatine.
Which
What?
came first? Little chicken and the egg kind of scenario.
It's a causality loop within Star Wars. Well, let's get to some of the villains. We have General Hux, obviously returning. Domhnall Gleeson, great actor,
Awesome actor.
kind of a waste in these movies. Because he started off, Force Awakens, he was like, this machine.
Yeah, he was like Space Hitler up there.
Now he's like,
He's like, I'm
Space.
jealous of Kylo Ren.
I don't want Kylo to win.
I
Yeah,
don't want you to win. I just want Kylo to lose.
yeah.
Which I kind of like that. I thought it was kind of funny. And he's like, I'm the informant, or I'm the spy.
I'm the spy. That
He's
was
like,
funny.
I just want people to acknowledge me.
Yeah.
I'm not Domhnall Gleeson, goddammit. That was an ex-machina.
I kind of he was, and Mother.
And Mother.
I kind of
And
wish
Brooklyn.
though his character was more of like Richard E. Grant's character.
That's why this movie is so ridiculous. They had, like, he kills him and then he becomes the new Hux.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
He gets killed almost immediately after.
yeah, he
He's
really
like,
does.
they shot me
This
in my
guy's trying to
leg.
limp.
He's
He's
got the
trying to limp up.
He's got a little bandage and a cane. He's doing like
He's hamming it up to him.
like a New York gangster, you know? That's something you'd see in The Sopranos. Oh, they caught me when I was in looking.
Yeah.
And then Richard E. Grant's like, oh, cool. Boom.
Cool, we'll just get rid of you.
Guess we found our spy.
I did like Richard E. Grant.
he was awesome. He's like kind of he alluded to him working for Palpatine back in the good old days, I
Yeah.
guess.
He had him on direct. He
Yeah.
had the direct line to
on
Palpatine.
speed dial, yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, like Palpatine's come out of nowhere, and Richard E. Grant's already got him on the text.
But yeah, I like that character. Hux, I don't know. He just last movie they turned him into a punching bag, and it's so hard to take him seriously after that.
What was it? Him that got force choked by him again? He got thrown in the air and back down.
Yeah,
It was him, right?
Snoke was wiping the floor with that.
You know what I did like? I like when Snap Wexley, he's the heavyset pilot, when he gives Leia the bad news. She's like, we need more
yeah,
optimism.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's like, this is gonna work.
I actually laughed at that. I did.
I like Snap. Yeah, I like those like when we saw Wedge, you know?
I liked when Rey mind tricks the stormtroopers.
Yeah, that was
That was funny.
She keeps fucking talking to him.
And they're like, has she been able to do that the whole time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Has she been doing that to us?
and C-3PO was probably the funniest part when he's like, it's like, Rey, Finn, you all right? He's like, I'm okay too. Thanks for
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't ask, but
When he was like, move your metal ass, he's like, how dare you? We just met.
and when he says Babu Frick is his oldest friend,
Yeah,
after his mind gets erased.
Oh, my
When
oldest
Babu
friend.
Frick and Carrie Russell's character, the spice runner that had the relationship with Poe, when they
Oh,
showed
yeah,
up for
yeah,
the
yeah.
battle and Babu Frick was like, hey!
Yeah.
That's the funniest part
What
of
are
the
you
movie.
doing there?
Yeah, when they showed their planet getting blown up, I was like a little sad. I was like, oh man, are they already dead? And then they came back and I was like, yes.
the planet being blown up, I couldn't believe it. Another Death Star
Yeah,
on the ship. The Death Star ships.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything. At one point, the battle does look bleak for the Resistance, and I thought, oh, this is kind of disturbing.
It was a good idea, though. I mean, with them not being able to leave because they didn't have the transmitter, because I mean, they weren't taking out all the ships, so it was a nice little plot.
They called back to 2 movies with when Palpatine opens up the roof and it's like, look at your friends all dying.
They did that in The Last Jedi.
And Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Snoke does that to her in The Last Jedi. He's got the little
And
TV.
Palpatine does it to Luke in Return of the Jedi. It's like, oh,
Once they
that's
do
his
that,
move.
Rey's probably turned around. It's like, oh, so we're gonna win, right?
Yeah. So
Like, do you only have
it's
one
gonna turn
move?
soon.
Because since you controlled Snoke, you basically did that 3 times already. Palps.
Yeah, Snoke was so cool too. I think Snoke in The Last Jedi was better than Palpatine in this movie. Just Andy Serkis as Snoke, which is why I like the character so much. And I like that he was deformed. He was so big. He had that giant Hugh Hefner robe, which was ridiculous. Everything was
you have a
just...
cane too.
Probably.
He kind of walked with
He
a
had
little
to.
bop.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, he had a little bop to him.
I don't
Gave
think
it a
we
few
saw him
shots.
walk, but he definitely walks in a bop.
Who, Snoke?
Yeah.
No, we saw Snoke walk.
Yeah, I feel like he's just lamping on that chair.
No, remember when he dresses down Kylo?
Oh, okay.
And then he zaps
Yeah,
him with the
that's
Force,
right.
I think.
Yep.
Take that ridiculous thing. Andy Serkis was so good, but whatever.
Oh yeah, his mask. How about that? Did you guys like it?
Well, it's like Snoke's like, take that thing off. And
And then he super glued it back together.
and Palpatine, who was Snoke, was like, well, not was, but could basically control Snoke's like, get that mask back on, boy.
Yeah. Do you guys like my mask? I redid it. Yeah, it looks good.
Well, that's convincing with Palpatine. You know, he gave Snoke a very unique personality.
I feel like you guys don't like my mask.
That was funny when he goes into the board meeting.
Yeah.
He's like, I feel like there's a problem with my mask, General Hux.
No, it looks good.
Hux is on his phone, not even paying attention. It's like, what are you talking about, Dick?
He's putting a tweet out.
And then that one woman, he's like this idiot put his mask back together.
You put the mask back on.
Who did this, fam? Yeah. 3 crying
man's
emojis.
And then that woman had the one line of the movie. She's like, I'd rather like your mask.
She's like, you're killing it.
Never seen her again. Never heard from her again.
Can't wait for a comic to come out.
About her?
Yeah.
About why she liked the mask. There's a whole backstory. It's her mom used to wear on the mask. I fucking hate Star Wars. What else do we have to talk about here?
Well, I guess just Kylo's
Wedge?
Yeah, fuck Wedge. Kylo's turn in general, how did you feel that went? Like, from him throwing the lightsaber into the water and showing up at the end.
Well, a lot of people were doing side-by-sides of him and Han Solo from the original trilogy, some of their movements.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool. Like
Yeah.
when he slides in and when he does the no-look blaster shot.
Yes, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that conversation with Solo was... I love that part. And they kind of say the same things that they said to each other in The Force Awakens. Obviously, he's not a Force ghost, but it's kind of his vision of what he wished he could say to his father at that time. And he kind of, threw his lightsaber in and all is forgiven.
It's how that moment
All those
is supposed
planets,
to
all
be.
Yeah,
those
everyone-
billions.
Everyone you killed, you're back on the pedestal.
I think people do, like, I get that, and it's kind of goofy when it's like, yep, Vader deserves to... He got redeemed.
But the Vader
After
thing
murdering
is so
all those
different.
children.
It's like
But
finding
no,
Christ. Everything you do. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I found God.
But even
I'm
with-
good now.
But even with Kylo, but I feel like
I submit.
the way I see it, though, in like the Star Wars universe, is the pull to the dark side is so heavy and hard and so taxing. It's like, you really can't blame because anybody can succumb to that.
Well,
And
Kylo
it takes
Ren,
the most strength to come back from that.
he doesn't feel guilt over destroying all those planets. He feels guilt over killing Han Solo because you could make the argument those planets were toast because Starkiller Base was a technological achievement. That was Hux and all those scientists. They didn't need Kylo Ren to build Starkiller Base. He just helped.
helped.
Yeah,
He
he
pointed
helped.
some fingers and do this.
Yeah. He helped with the budgetary.
Yeah.
It's
It
my-
felt like he
Kept
didn't
a
want to do it
spreadsheet.
though. It felt like he didn't want to kill Han Solo, and then he just ran with it after he did it.
I mean,
yes,
from
it's
For-
very similar to
in
Anakin
Force
killing Mace Windu.
Awakens, Force Awakens is very much like he was like, I need to kill my father in order to prove that I am
Right.
like ready to be part of the dark side. Like this is my commitment, and it's been the one thing he's always regretted.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's there. That's the final Luke line that Luke has to him in The Last Jedi. It's like your dad's always going to be with you. And it almost felt like he was taunting him. saying you're never going to get over this.
Yeah.
That you're trying to be this big bad new Darth Vader, but you're still haunted by killing your father. I really didn't think he was going to be redeemed because of the way they left him at the end of The Last Jedi. I think there was a way that, like Vader's redemption, Vader very much is responsible for all those lives, I believe. But it was a very personal moment. It doesn't redeem all the bad things that he did, but he had this moment where he became Anakin once again to save his son, and maybe that can spark a new society. They can help rebuild.
Well, it's kind of like the dichotomy between the light and the dark. You can maybe argue that Anakin and Ben didn't do those things. Kylo and Vader did.
Right.
It's just such a...
You're their lawyer.
Yeah.
In front of the space judge. Well, technically,
I could get
from
him
a
off.
certain point of view. Right, Obi?
Yeah. But it's like, when you succumb to the dark side and it's such a heavy pull, you just become a completely different person. And it takes a lot of strength to overcome that. And it's also the same amount of strength to resist how Rey did. Even though... at some point, maybe she might have teetered on that line, or she saw herself going to the throne.
She went right to the dark side.
She went to the dark in The Last Jedi. Tells something about her character where she was strong enough not to succumb.
In the books, they establish that Leia hates Darth Vader. Even when Luke tells her what he did, she's like, I don't know him as a father. I never met him. I didn't see this. All I know that he was a brutal dictator. So you
who
can see
destroyed
that,
her planet.
Right, yeah, who killed her adopted family.
That was Tarkin.
But
My
for
client is...
Luke and Leia, the lightsaber training, did you guys like that?
Yes.
That was cool, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that Leia became a Jedi,
I hate...
because that's in
yeah.
Legends.
And it kind of...
It made me think of Last Jedi when she force pulls herself back into the thing, and everyone's like, she never
Yeah.
learned the Force like that, and it's like, apparently she did.
He did Ryan Johnson
Right,
a
you
solid
didn't.
with that one.
Well, neither is Baby Yoda, and he's healing people like Rey.
Yo, when Rey first healed that snake, I was like, Baby Yoda did it first.
Yes.
Yep, he did.
He's so adorable.
And I love that about Leia's character, that she trained to become a Jedi because she knew she had this power, but she realized she was a politician.
I would have liked seeing more training with Rey and Leia. I mean,
Well, that's tough.
I know.
It's like
I know. It
that's
sucks.
something where you probably should have squeezed into maybe 8 or did it something differently with Luke, but they tried to establish that early on. It's like, here's Rey training.
Yeah.
And
But she still left. She still left like an apprentice. And then she's so powerful now and she's so good with the saber.
she's always been. And it's all about, I guess...
Rey being overpowered.
You gotta nerf her a little bit.
Not really. I mean...
Well, making her a Palpatine is almost like a nerf because it's an explanation.
Yeah.
I did like at the beginning, like when she's training and she's holding the lightsaber weird, and you can tell it's clear because she's holding it like a staff, and then the part where like they're like FaceTiming,
Yeah.
and she just like gets rid of the lightsaber and uses her staff to kill that thing
Yeah.
that was zapping at her.
She's better with the staff than the saber.
Yeah,
But it's like, all right, if you want to say Rey's overpowered, but like,
I want
again,
sorry.
Baby Yoda. Fucking...
True.
He's
Wait, where's
a
her
baby, and he's stronger
wanted
than
her
the Force than
lightsaber-
most people.
There are several points of this movie I thought she was going to take 2 lightsabers and put them
Yeah,
together.
Yeah,
I was
that
just going to
was
say
sick.
that they've been setting that up since the first movie and they never did it.
Like her lightsaber at the end, I thought both ends were going to light up.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
she had-
what I was expecting.
she-
It looked like the other end would, and she only used the first side.
Well, when Luke said take 2 of them, you're going to need 2. I thought 1 for Kylo.
Yeah.
But maybe at first you'll connect them, do a little staff, and then they get broken, and then Kylo takes 1.
That's all. When Kylo came back and he's fighting the Knights of Ren, and
Somebody
I love
said
that.
he just went straight to the Gap and got a black sweatshirt. Didn't get any of the Jedi robes.
there's a hole in it. It's probably easy.
I heard he got
he
basics
paid
from
big bucks for
Uniqlo.
those.
The Kanye. Did
He
you?
got the Yeezy seasons.
I liked the scene when she was in the Death Star and she saw her evil, her dark side self with the red saber.
It was a cool
That was a
scene.
nice scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emperor's Palpatine.
I like that when he called it
Mhm.
Emperor's Palpatine. Strike.
A lot of this stuff is so ridiculous, but I had fun with it. That's all I really wanted to do. When the Rotten Tomatoes came out, like in the 50s, I'm like, all right, the people who like it seem to have fun with it. The people that don't like it seem to have problems with a lot of the technical stuff and a lot of the character decisions, which is understandable. But I kind of went in, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sit back, eat my popcorn, drink, and just have fun with this last Star Wars movie.
You know
And
what's
I did. And that's all I kind of really wanted from it.
You know what's the worst thing about these Star Wars movies? Is that people are now saying that they're worse than Attack of the Clones. Because
Ooh.
all the people who
Yeesh.
hated The Last Jedi, that was their argument. It's worse than Attack of the Clones. So now everybody who kind of doesn't like Rise of Skywalker is doing the same thing. Guys, I'm trying to speak to everybody here. You know it's not worse than Attack of the Clones. Don't do it. Just don't try to make a point by putting this lower than Attack of the Clones.
You cannot.
That's one of the worst movies ever.
You can.
Right off the bat, Attack of the Clones is just instantly worse.
I feel like a favoritism.
With that
like
stupid fucking scene of her being bombed on the hangar.
I feel like you can enjoy maybe Attack of the Clones more because it is what it is, and it didn't really have all these, jarring changes or things introduced. But as a movie, Attack of the Clones is absolutely abysmal.
and this is not worse than Phantom Menace either.
No, I don't think so either.
So, or The Last Jedi. People are ridiculous.
I think it's in between Last Jedi and Force Awakens for me, just as in the trilogy.
I would rank them as they've come out. I've liked them less and less. So, Force Awakens is still my favorite Last Jedi than this one.
I'm kind of happy it's done with.
Me too.
It's over with. Can we just stop now?
If we didn't do this, obviously, for the channel, I would never talk about this ever. It's gotten to the point where I just don't, obviously I respect you people that I'm here with now, but I just don't care about anyone's opinion about Star Wars anymore. Just don't care.
It's so much.
I would give this
not
movie
even
a 7,
fun.
though.
Yeah, no, I like the movie.
7 out of 10.
But it's not fun to talk about anymore. Because
exactly.
if people hate it, then
if people hate it and you like it, you get chastised, and vice versa.
It's like Jeremy Johns. He said it's his least favorite Star Wars movie of all time. Fine, that's his least favorite. He didn't like it. And that's his opinion. But people are gonna be like, attack him and do all this stuff. And if someone says it's their favorite, same thing. What are you doing? Let people like things. And if you want to have a discussion about it and discuss and point out all your opinions on it, and that's fine too. But it's just at the point where you like Last Jedi, I'm gonna kill you.
What did you give it out of 10?
A 7.5, I think.
Oh, I'm probably gonna kill you.
Yeah, I'm the same.
7.5.
Yeah.
Marissa?
Yeah, this viewing experience, I think I said this when we walked out of the theater. It was kind of like watching Justice League, and that I expected Justice League to be a complete trash fire because that's what everyone was saying it is, and it was fine. And I was expecting this to be terrible because of what people were saying, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. I didn't have as much fun as I would want to have in watching a Star Wars movie, but it was still a Star Wars movie, and I didn't hate it.
Right, it's hard to separate the movie from what came before it. That's the thing with Star Wars. With Justice League, there were no expectations.
What?
Oh, what do you mean there were no expectations?
After those first movies had come out, like Batman v Superman.
True. Everyone was panning it immediately.
At that point, it was just like, why are they, this is probably going to be the last one. With Rise of Skywalker, say what you want about The Last Jedi, it wasn't where DC is. I mean, DC's obviously gotten better, but at DC at its lowest point, Star Wars was never that.
But I feel like the problem with a big property like Star Wars, fine is not good enough. So if The Last Jedi came out, I'm like, oh, it's a fine movie. For a lot of fans, they don't want fine. They want the next Empire or next New Hope. And, those movies are pretty much masterpieces. You're not going to get... hard to replicate. So
The Force Awakens speaks to that perfectly.
Yeah.
Because that was the best one out of the trilogy, and it still became so polarizing. And those days seem so calm compared to now.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But the days people forget about The Force Awakens. There was a large percentage of the fan base that just bitched and moaned about how close it was to A New Hope, and they just did the same thing. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
How many times are we going to see Richard the fucking Third?
Yeah.
Or Hamlet, or every other Shakespeare, or every other movie that's constantly being remade? A Star is Born, 4th time, won an Oscar.
It's it's like what you just said. Everyone wants it to be like the original trilogy. And then they make one that's kind of like it, and it's like, it's just like it's just like the new trilogy or the old trilogy.
And I don't even think The Force Awakens. There's a lot of similarities, but even George Lucas says there's things that repeat in his series. That's what he likes. He likes little repetitions that kind of call back to other movies. So
history repeating itself?
Yeah.
I mean, that is the literal theme, the whole your dad is evil, are you going to become evil? Maybe breaking a cycle type of thing.
It's Star Wars. It's very simple.
It's fake.
It's space opera.
I just like you said, it's like there's somebody out there who mildly enjoyed all 3 movies. And
they're like, oh, well done.
I mean, my mom,
then they just went home.
Yeah.
My mom was like, oh.
Wrapped it up pretty sweet. Like it.
Right, your mom, right?
My mom literally was like, oh, is there a Star Wars movie coming out? And I was like, imagine living like that.
Yeah.
Not knowing that there's Star Wars movies coming out.
Our cousin Chrissy, after The Last Jedi, texts me, wow, they really know what they're doing over there. Very well done. I'm like,
it's so funny too, because
I envy you,
the people who loved The Last Jedi and were like, oh, these people who hate it are like this, that, and how can you say this and they're so annoying, are the same people doing the same exact thing for this movie.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's just watch the movies, have fun. You don't like them, teach your own. But by saying that, I think J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson should be charged for treason.
Hey guys, thank you for watching this video, and of course we would like to thank our Patreon supporters. Without you guys, Nerd Soup wouldn't be Nerd Soup. Seriously, your support is what keeps the fridge full, so thank you once again for your support. If you are interested in supporting Nerd Soup through Patreon, visit our page and check out the different rewards we offer to our fans. If not, then no problem. We appreciate anyone who takes time from their day to watch our videos. So thank you to each and every one of you out there watching, and remember to like and share this video. And hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like it. Or don't.